Thank you very much. First, it is really a great honor to be speaking in the Embassy of Afghanistan. And salams to Hamzabanan và Hamdilan in the audience. I am particularly delighted that it is happening today, not only because it is in honor of Rumi, whom we all share, but also because my institution has started a very special relationship with the Afghan community only about 2 weeks ago. My colleagues are here, Dr. Matthew Miller and Ms. Susan Moinfar. If you'd like to talk with them, we are absolutely delighted to be able to build these bridges and make sure that we have a strong connection with the Afghan community. And to Rumi and why he matters. Sometimes it's enough to just look at the number of books that are sold and translated to see that, but let us just dig a little bit deeper into that. I'll try not to speak longer than about 15 to 20 minutes at most so that we can have an exchange. For those of you who may not know, Rumi was born in the city of Vakhsh, on the bank of the river Vakhsh, just outside Balkh, and in present-day Afghanistan. And as it has been mentioned many times, he immigrated, his family immigrated, and it took a long time. And in about 2 years, they settled in where is central Turkey today, in the city of Konya. Ambassador Mohib mentioned quite correctly that Rumi bridges so many cultures by speaking the language of one of us or all of us, in a way, being born in a country, growing up in another country. I would like to add Aleppo to that, because he was also sent to the city of Aleppo by his father to study when he was less than in his 20s. When he came back, he was at the age 25. He took over actually when his father passed away, so he was pretty young when he went to the city of Aleppo. There are, in fact, even stories about whether he actually met with the major Arab mystic and poet of his time, Ibn Arabi, but we don't know that for certain. Sometime around the age of 40 or so, when Rumi was teaching in the madrasa in Konya, this man whom Rumi constantly describes as a gharib, it's really not strange, although it could have that meaning, but it means somebody who hardly belongs to anywhere. By the name of Shams of Tabriz, a basket weaver, came to town who actually changed Rumi's life, although I must say that scholarship shows that his family, his father, Bahaddin Balad, his teachers like Muhaqqiq Tirmidhi and others had already had a great impact on Rumi's life. So when he met Shams, he was in many ways ready for this change, this major change in his life. Shams, I want to give you one quote from Shams because I think it is an amazing thing to say, to be putting in words. And interesting to think about it for a long time. Shams said about himself, he said, "An yar se gune khat neveshti." That beloved wrote 3 kinds of script. Yeki ra hamu khandi ba ham ghair. I'm sorry, yeki ra u khandi va la ghair. One of the scripts only he could read and nobody else. Yeki ra hamu khandi ba ham ghair. There's another script that he could write that that he could read but others could not read. Yeki ra na u khandi va na ghair o. An khat savam manam. There was the 3rd script that neither he read nor anybody else. I am that 3rd script. And you might ask yourself, how could somebody write something that he himself or she herself cannot read? And that's why I think thinking about that will take us a long way. I have concluded for myself that the only script you cannot read is a script that is in constant development. It's something that's constantly changing and renewing and coming back in new forms and fashions. Now, Rumi is very famous. We don't need to emphasize that. If you just simply say Maulana, which means our master, Persian speakers everywhere would know that you're talking about Rumi. If you said Masnavi, the book of Masnavi, which is about a particular way of writing poetry, everybody would understand that you're talking about Rumi's Masnavi. And if you said Divan, which is a collection of poems, they would understand to be Rumi's collection of mystical lyrics. Does that mean that Rumi is really known to us? Most probably not. I'll give you the story in which he explains how hard it is for people of his caliber to actually be described or understood. Many of you may know the story. An elephant was brought into a town where people had not seen an elephant before. They all rushed to see the elephant. It was getting dark. The owner said, you know, you really can't see the elephant if you come in now. They said, no, we want to just see a little bit and touch. And they went in and touched the elephant. And the next day, those who had not gone in said to those who had, you know, what is an elephant like? The one who had touched the foot of the elephant said, oh, an elephant is like a big, thick column. And the other one, who had touched the ear of the elephant, said, oh, no, an elephant is like a big fan. And the one who had reached out and touched the higher up in the back of the elephant, almost, said, no, an elephant is really like a big seat, like a throne. You can sit on it. And then at that point, Rumi says, در کف هر یک اگر شمعی بودی اختلاف از گفتشان بیرون شدی. If each one of them carried a candle, their views of the elephant would be very different. Now, in a way, Rumi is that elephant in the dark. There are people who only look at the way his writing is influenced by the Quran and talk about him as only a religious figure with deep immersion in Quranic tradition, which is true. Those who are more secular thinking find areas where he talks about the value of the human beings and their judgment and so forth and argue that that's who he is. Those who want to hold on deeply to markers like nationality, they will insist, no, he's Iranian, no, he's Afghan, no, he's a Turk, no, he's... And those who are not really scientists, but are dedicated to scientism, they argue that we can find as much philosophy and science in his work. The truth is, we need the candle. And the candle is what Rumi himself displays in his work so well, that is including the different perspectives. What Western philosophy calls the fusion of horizons. There are all these horizons across, and to go for one is not knowledge. It's only the part of knowledge you can see from your perspective. So, why is he suddenly now so relevant to our lives? I would like to, there are many, many different ways to do that. But I'm going to actually start where Ambassador Mahib left it, which is hope. Hope is what is really Rumi's prime gift to humanity. And he says it very openly. He says, امید سر راه ایمنی است. اگر قدم در راه نتوانی گذاشت سر راه نگاه دار. Hope's road is the road to safety. Even if you cannot step on it, just stay there, on the side of the road. What are some sources of hope? Of course, for him, beyond everything else, is the light of God, the generosity of God. هل نومید نباشی که تو را یار براند، اگر امروز براند نه که فردات بخواند. Do not be disappointed that God may, or beloved may not let you in today. Don't you know that if he doesn't let you in today, tomorrow he might be calling on you? و اگر بر تو ببندد همه درها و گذرها، ره پنهان بنماید که کسان راه نداند. Even if you feel all the roads are closed, he'll show you the road that nobody else knows. In other words, through that hope, through that connection, you find resources in yourself that you didn't even know it exists. Another source of hope is the nature. It keeps telling us, the spring comes to life every year. Look at it. Trees look dead, the leaves are gone, everything is yellow, and then they come back to life. بهار آمد، بهار آمد، بهار مشکبار آمد، نگار آمد، نگار آمد، نگار بردبار آمد. صفا آمد، صفا آمد. And I'm going to ask you to hold on to this concept of safa, because I think it's very central to all of this. It's not, he's not saying that it just can happen by itself. There are things to be aware of, conditions to meet, and one of them is safa. We're going to come back to it. Safa آمد که سنگ و ریگ روشن شد. شفا آمد، شفا آمد، شفای هر نزار آمد. So purity came. Purity came, so every pebble on earth was glowing with this purity. Again, another source is love. Love is the force that keeps the universe turning. That is why we're living, because we need to join that dance. We cannot stand on the margin, close our eyes, and just assume that it could happen by itself. You have to join the dance. هر نفس آواز عشق میرسد از چپ و راست. ما به فلک میرویم عزم تماشا که راست. So every moment, every breath, the call of love comes from right, left, center, everywhere. I'm heading up there. Who's going to come to watch? Now, the up there is also, the flying up there is also an important concept. It is not to break away from the life on earth. Never. Rumi never asked his followers to mortify themselves, to go hungry, to excessively fast, or anything like that. This looking upwards or going upwards is freeing yourself of the attachments, is being able to rise above what holds us down, what in the English language we say weighs on us. Again, another source is, of course, the cosmic dance, the love that animates the whole universe. And what I don't want to talk so much that you wouldn't have any time to interact, but there is really this passage about the way the world is celebrating this movement. I would love to share it with you. An صبح سعادت‌ها چون نور فشان آید، آنگاه خروس جان در گفت و فغان آید. So this mornings of fortune, this cosmic morning, this life around us comes to life, and it makes the bird of the soul sing. خود خور نور برافشاند. پس نور درخشاند تن گرد چو بنشاند جانان بر جان آید. And that's another concept. We have to let the dust settle. The dust of distractions, of fears, of doubts, of not having hope, of forgetting about the past, all of that have to settle for you to be free, to be able to rise above them. And then see how he describes the inner human being. دل مریم آبستن یک شیوه کند با من عیسی دروغزه تن در گفت و فغان آید. And truly revolutionary. You are that Mary pregnant with Jesus. That is your inner soul. And if you allow it, if there is purity, if it's rising above the everyday problems, if the gaps are settled, then you can see truly what is inside. He gives us one example. I'm really with two more short examples I would like to end, so you can talk also. But as I was talking about freeing yourself, I just remembered a very fun short episode of by the famous other Sufi Ghazali, Ahmad Ghazali, who somebody gave him a very expensive horse, and so it was there. And then somebody said, "Master, I heard you got a very expensive horse." He said, "Yeah, somebody gave it to me." "So you have it?" He said, "Yeah, it lives in the stable, not in my heart." So that is the whole message. You're not expected to throw things away. You're not expected to live like a homeless, helpless, hopeless person, but rather to put it to the kind of use with purity. Purity, which is the hardest probably to achieve in the sense of being true to yourself. Being truly who you are. Now, that's how Rumi describes it about himself. در بحر صفا گداختم همچون نمک. I melted in the sea of purity like salt. نه کفر و نه ایمان، نه یقین ماند و نه شک. Nothing remained. Faith, disbelief, doubt, all disappeared. And در دل من ستاره‌ای پیدا شد. And در دل من ستاره‌ای پیدا شد، گم گشت در آن ستاره هر هفت فلک. So it is reaching that brightness of the inner star of the soul. Beauty is one tool, purity is another tool, reaching out and recognizing other human beings is another tool, and all of these make Rumi tremendously compelling for our time. I end with this lines of him about the language of the heart. You probably know it. It's among the best known lines of Rumi. همزبانی خویشی و پیوندی است، مرد با نامحرمان چون بندی است. So speaking the same language is sharing the same blood, is being related. A person who is with a stranger feels like a captive. So now you begin to think, what language is he talking about? And, what if I don't know somebody else's language? ای بسا هندو و ترک همزبان، ای بسا دو ترک چون بیگانگان. Many are Hindus and Turks who speak the same language. And many are Turks who are aliens to one another. پس زبان محرمی خود دیگر است. همدلی از همزبانی بهتر است. The language of companionship and trust is another language. Speaking through the heart is better than speaking through words. غیر نطق و غیر ایما و سجل 100,000 ترجمان خیزد زده. besides words, allusions, and argumentations. The heart knows 100,000 ways to speak. Thank you very much.